Hello everyone, my name is Snodasmannen and I'm the author of a small game. It's called Galimulator that's available on Android and PC. And I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of a feature that is coming up in the next release. And if you just want to see an animation, you might want to skip the introductory talk for a minute or so. So what I want to do is to introduce an economic system into the galaxy. And the basic idea is that stars will have wealth, which represents the resources available to them in some sense. And by extensions, the empires will also have wealth. So the mechanism that I used to implement this system was sort of concluded after, I think, a pretty long discussion on the user forums. So what I did was I introduced these guys. Now the graphics are just placeholders, but these guys are traders. So what they do is that they move around the galaxy between the stars, and they create the wealth. They create all the wealth by visiting these stars. And they will prefer to go to certain types of stars, so stars which have artifacts around them, or stars who are capitals of empires, or stars who are wealthy, and also sort of a random weight. And once they've reached their end goal, just following these lanes, they will create a lot of wealth on that particular star. But they will also create some wealth in every star that they pass on the way there. And it's also important to point out that these stars consume wealth. So it means that if they are not visited for some time by these traders, they will lose their wealth and become poor. So to illustrate all of this, I just created a new map mode. Let me zoom out. So what you can see here is that the aura around each star indicates the wealth level of that star. And initially you can see that everything is evenly distributed because I just started this galaxy. But we can see as I start the galaxy that, well, there's a lot of empires. We don't need to worry too much about them. But we'll see also that auras are getting less and less evenly distributed. So there seems to be a cluster of wealth around the center of the galaxy. And this spiral arm, for instance, appears to be pretty fashionable and is getting pretty wealthy, and this one as well. Whereas if you look to the far west here, doesn't seem to be any freighters, probably any traders going there. So those guys are pretty poor. And this is a pretty dynamic system, so it will change over time. So for instance, we can see this artifact being built. There are artifacts being built everywhere. It means that those stars should become targeted by the occasional freighter. And then those stars should grow in wealth. And remember that wealthier stars are also more interesting to traders. And then in the end, those guys should also become, the whole region should basically benefit from this. So if we just leave this running for a while, actually what I'll do is I'll speed this up since I'm on PC. I just added this feature where it's possible to go a heck of a lot faster. So just keep going until frame rate starts to drop. So now we see a pretty clear line of, this seems to be sort of the standard trade route now. But if we leave it running, let's see what happens. So it seems now that the southern, or the lower part of the galaxy has become quite wealthy, probably at the expense of others, and there's still no wealth in sight for the guys in the western arm or the far north. Oh, actually they're picking up some cash. So I actually wanted to add mechanisms so that these stars pop up random resources that are attractive to the freighters, so that they would show up and then disappear every now and then, so as to create some faster shifting of this wealth and how it's distributed. Because right now it's pretty slow. Although real time for me, this is just some minutes, but in game time, this is 140 millennia, which is almost an hour, something like this, of gameplay, which is quite a lot. So these should be shifting faster for them to make them really interesting. Okay, anyway, just wanted to give you guys a quick peek of this one. course we can slow down now and see these guys moving around like ants, basically following these trade routes. Just because it's usually the fastest way to go from one popular star to another. And they cannot be attacked or shot by anyone else. They are completely untouchable. Okay, see you guys.